up, kids? Caleb here for the Game Glyph, and we're gonna talk about something a little bit different for me, and that is, we're gonna talk about some of my favorite opening intro sequences to games for the regular Nintendo. I am deviating from my Sega fetish to expand my horizons, and I wanna do something a little bit different. I'm always wanting to do something different, because if I do the same thing, I get bored. I'm obviously a hyper, kind of insane person, so I have to do something different. Here is my top 5 favorite opening intros, sequences, whatever, for regular Nintendo. And what's cool is these were all done, via pixel art. There's no like opening cinematics that really surpass this as far as innovation, because everything now is just like a movie. So they really had to work with what they had, and these 5 are very, very memorable in my opinion. This is all opinion. There's a lot of good opening intros for Nintendo games, but these are my 5 favorite opening intros for regular Nintendo games. Check it out.
Number 5.
I don't think I could make a top 5 list of anything in a positive light that did not contain Castlevania. Castlevania in general is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite game series of all time. Each game innovates something new or adds something new to the series. Now I'm not talking about those newer games that are more like God of War, I'm talking about the original Japanese-made games, especially the ones for the regular Nintendo and of course for the PlayStation 1 and DS. Opening intros, I have to put this in my list. I know by nowadays standards, this probably doesn't look like anything extraordinary, but at the time it really was. It was very innovative, how it added like a movie reel type cinematic where it really felt like you were seeing like this storyline in a movie form kind of unfold before you. And it tells you the back history, the chronology of what goes on in Castlevania and led up to this point about the Belmonts, and it's quite nice, and all the cinematics and artwork here are beautiful. And of course the music is absolutely brilliant and catchy and very memorable. But this entire sequence here I found extremely captivating as a child, and going back to and watching it now, it's still incredibly interesting. So I think they did a really good job with Castlevania 3 making this opening cinematic, because it added a lot of world building to this game series, and it really explains a lot and fills in a lot of gaps in the storyline, because the first game doesn't really tell you a lot about what's going on about the characters. You just know that you've got to fight Dracula. You get a whip, you hit some Medusa heads, some bats, and you go kill Dracula. This game gives you a lot more storyline, and being this game is much more complex than the rest of the games in the series, not counting Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, as everybody knows that that game is a giant pain in the ass. But this in particular sequence right here I always found amazing, and I still do, and that's why I've got to put it on my list at number 5. Now, being that this is number 5, that should tell you a lot about this list and how particular it is that I made it if I'm putting one of my favorite game series as number 5 on a top 5 list. Castlevania 3. What a freaking great game.
Number fucking 4.
Oh, Ninja Gaiden. This is the game that eludes everyone. I mean, come on, it starts out with ninjas dueling to the death in a field, and look at those animations. There was nothing like this game when it first came out. It was very, very innovative and really, really showed how cinematic you can be with pixel art. And this game absolutely blew my mind. When I was a kid, I thought I was watching like a cartoon right now, like a Japanese anime. This intro is amazing, it's emotional, and it shows how Ryu really has motive for what he's doing in this game, like why he wants to go to America to find this archaeologist and find the dragon sword, to seek revenge. That's the point of this game, is to seek revenge. And that's a good plot line. It's something I can get behind, because everybody gets pissed off when people kill their father in a ninja battle in the field, that you want to murder people because of that. As a ninja, you want to go to America and you want to start murdering people. And that's exactly what you do in this game. And everybody knows this game is famously hard, but it's also famously worth it. In this game, when you die, it's your fault. But yes, this game's opening cinematic to me was a total mind blower. I absolutely love it, and it's very memorable. And you should play this game just to watch that opening cinematic. There's actually a lot of cinematics in this game. Ninja Gaiden on the regular Nintendo had a great opening cinematic because it was short, fast, and to the point. If you disagree, well then screw you.
Number 3.
Crystallis is probably one of my favorite games and would definitely be in my top 10 favorite Nintendo games of all time. And this game I bought at a whim at a yard sale one time when I was really young and I had a regular Nintendo, and I always wanted to rent it. It was at the store, but it was always rented out. And I always thought the box art and everything looked really cool because this game has great box art. Very, very interesting, very, very unique. And you know, you see a tower fly off into the sky, and that's fun. But the opening cinematic in this game was really, really engrossing and really, really involved. Like, they actually made quite a cool little world here. And it was bizarre, just the thought at the time as a young kid that the world was destroyed by, I guess, nuclear bombs and all these mutated creatures took over the world. And then you find out that 100 years later, civilization is starting to try to rebuild itself, and you basically awake from this cryogenic freeze. And you know, you're like this little pink-haired dude, and at the time I just thought it was really cool, and I love the music in this game. Absolutely think the music in this game is one of the best things. But the opening cinematic story just really stuck with me as a kid, and just thought it was really, really cool, and it made me want to play this game. Crystallis is not one of those games that you really hear a lot of people talk about. Some people call it Crystallis, some people call it Crystallis. I'm sure it's actually Crystallis, but you know how it is when you say something for so long, you just kind of get stuck doing that. But I found this game to be kind of an overlooked gem. This is one of my favorite games on the regular Nintendo. It's kind of like Legends of Zelda with Secret of Mana gameplay mixed in there. There's a lot in this game, and it's really worth checking out. And again, the opening cinematic in this game is very cinematic, and everybody loves playing as a little pink-haired dude. I mean, that is cool. Very original, very unique art style and gameplay in this game. It was definitely ahead of its time. So check out Crystallis or Crystallis on the regular Nintendo.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I've lost my mind. How could these be the best? Just you wait and see.
Number 2.
Blaster Master is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love this game. This is another game that doesn't get enough love, and the intro in this game was just so cool to me as a kid because the motivation was your pet frog got away, and you have to go chase your frog down this weird hole, and you find this awesome suit and this awesome, like, tank robot thing. You get in this tank, and you're just a kid, and you're going after your little frog, and your frog mutates into some kind of crazy thing, and you have to save your frog from all this evil stuff and save your sister. And man, this game is just really cool, and this opening cinematic to me is ultra. It's legendary. It's so great that I used it for my opening intro for almost all of my videos. I absolutely love Blaster Master, and this is without a doubt one of my favorite intros, and that's why it's number 2 on the list. You cannot deny how legendary the opening sequence is for this game.
I know this list could be somewhat controversial, being there are so many scrumptious selections to choose from, but here's my number 1, which will probably be a humongous surprise to people that don't know who I really am. Here's my number 1 opening sequence for regular Nintendo games.
Number 1.
That's right, it's Batman. It's always Batman. If there's an opportunity for there to be a number 1, it's gonna be Batman because he's number 1. And this opening intro sequence, this opening theme music even, where you just sit here and look at the title screen, literally brings so much nostalgia to me. It almost sends chills down my spine. I just love this game, and as a child, this game was just the best. It was so much like the 1988 or 89 Tim Burton original Batman film with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. That movie was my childhood, and this game represents my childhood. It was one of my first Nintendo games, and this is one of the hardest games made by Konami ever. I mean, this is a hard game, but this opening cinematic really, really tries hard to bring in a lot of things from the film to make you really feel that Tim Burton Batman world. And this is a great opening sequence that really explains the events that build up, and then you take on the role of course, Batman as you try to stop the Joker, and you go through multiple levels of trying to destroy all these crazy enemies that are absolutely in no possible way even in the movie at all. So they had to fill a lot of space in this game to make a real game here out of that movie at the time, because the movie itself was, you know, a complete masterpiece in my opinion, probably Tim Burton's best film. This game absolutely encapsulates that vibe, and yet it has that great Nintendo pixel art. And yeah, okay, Batman is blue. I don't really know why Batman is blue. I guess because there's so much black in this game, you just can't have everything be black because you'd see nothing. But man, this game has great opening cinematics. It really gets you into it, gives you a great storyline, very in depth, and that Batmobile, oh my gosh, it looks so cool, and it gets me really excited to see it right now. I just love this intro. This is my number 1 intro, not because of just nostalgia, but just because it's so incredibly well made and well put together. They just don't try this hard anymore. So you can't get much better than this intro. I'm sure my friend Jay from NES Addict, he'd probably agree, because this is one of his, if not his favorite Nintendo games. You understand, man, this game is like nostalgia-philia. I love this intro, and that's why it's number 1.
I'm certain a lot of you guys and gals and robots and aliens probably disagree with some of the stuff on my list, and that's fine. These are all opinions. So that gives you an opportunity to cuss me out below in the comments. So leave your comments below telling me how much I suck, how much my ideas suck, or maybe even do something constructive like tell me what your top 5 favorite opening intros are for regular Nintendo games. And if you like this list, subscribe, share it, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate that. You can go to my Patreon account. I always forget that I have one and support me that way. You can give me $1 million. I would love $1 million. But if not, just who cares? Just leave a comment, like, whatever. But thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching Game Glyph, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Corporate America, corporate America.
I did not. I wish.
America, swimming through corporate America.
That's what we're doing.
Wendy's, and
I think it's even more simple than that. I think that they didn't even have to tell him that, and that they're just like, hey, why don't you just go on stage and talk shit? And he's like, okay.
While we play, if not, that'd be super rude. You gotta get that trash can position exactly acoustically right. It has to be